Now let's bring in Michael Hirsh, senior editor from Newsweek, going to help us try to figure this thing out. He's also the author of Capital Offense. To talk more about this, let's go to Michael here with an excerpt from his new book, actually, on the 30-year history behind the financial crash and ongoing economic crisis in this week's Newsweek. He's got that in there. And Michael, first, what are we going to do? I mean, we've got a Democratic president who thinks he can't do any more stimulus spending, who seems to have painted himself in a corner, and we got the Republicans with seemingly worse options. What do we do?
Well, I mean, the Republicans, first of all, Cenk, seem to think they have good options because they are obstructing everything he's doing. They think that that's going to pave their way to dominance of both the House and the Senate and possibly the presidency in 2012, and they may well prove to be right. I mean, my take on Obama is he played some very bad political chess when he put so much of his political capital, staked it onto health care in his first year. That really caused the political atmosphere to go toxic, cost him a lot of support in the polls. And he's now in a position where it's politically impossible for him to get the additional stimulus package that he really would need to drive that unemployment rate down below 9.5%. And to put him in a position, and he's got a lot more to worry about than 2010 right now. 2010 has already been written off to some degree in terms of you're going to get strong GOP showings. But he's got to start to worry about 2012 now.
All right. So, Michael, let me show you a clip from Gibbs earlier today, because he seemed to think that there's just not anything that could be done, period. You talked about that in your article. That's why I want to show it to you. Let's watch.
I think there's no doubt that there's only so much that can be done.
Not having to do with politics.
Not having to do with politics.
You agree with him?
I do. I mean, I think that's the real pickle that Obama is in now, is that, look, on the monetary side, there's only so much more that Bernanke can do. As Bernanke himself, the Fed chairman, acknowledged in his comments over the last several days at the Bretton Woods meeting of the Kansas City Fed, monetary policies, very close to being at an end. You've got interest rates already near zero. The possibility of buying additional troubled assets, they can do that, but it's only going to do so much. You're pushing on a string there. You need bold fiscal initiatives, and you need, above all, Cenk, you need efforts that are going to restore confidence in the American economy. And I think that because he limited himself to a half-sized stimulus in the beginning, and because he did so little to change Wall Street, I think Obama has maneuvered himself out of those big, bold, dramatic moves that people would expect.
But, Michael, how about this crazy idea? How about he starts acting like a president, like a commander-in-chief, not just in foreign policy, but in domestic policy? He says, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do more stimulus. And if the Republicans stop it, then they're stopping more jobs in America, and they're 100% to blame. I mean, if he shows some sort of strength, couldn't we at least have some hope?
The problem there is that it's not just Republicans, it's also centrist Democrats. That's why you have all of this hullabaloo. Well, you're right in one respect. He's got to use the bully pulpit better than he has been doing. He's got to get out there and say, look, the only way we can do this is with some bold additional reforms. To a certain extent, as I point out in my piece, he's already maneuvered himself out of looking like FDR. I mean, the FDR comparison is telling, because this is a guy who, in the depths of the Depression, did restore confidence in the economy, which Obama has signally failed to do. But he's got to get out there and, yes, be more presidential, use the bully pulpit of the White House, get out there on the hustings and say, look, we can do much more for the economy, but it's going to take this, this, and this. And he's failed to do that. He's continued to allow himself to be outmaneuvered by everything from the Tea Party rally, on the Mall on Saturday, to the centrist Democrats who have said no and have insisted in a focus on fiscal discipline.
Michael, look, one problem is he's too soft. I think that, and it's part of the conversation we're having here. But the second part of the problem isn't that he isn't fighting the Republicans enough. It's that he's wrong. It's about the bailouts. The Geithner and Summers were wrong before the bailouts. They were wrong on the bailouts. Yes, the Republicans were also wrong, but doesn't the president have to come out and say, that's it, I'm not going to give another dime to these banks, not just in TARP money, but in practically free money, whether it's interest rates or indirect bailouts? These guys are not lending out. We got to stop this nonsense.
Well, look, I mean, that is the thrust of my book, as you mentioned at the top. Obama, I think, never fully understood just how deep and systemic this problem was. This was not just a market crash. This was 3 decades of policy errors accumulating to the point where you had an entire system that was infected by a financial sector run amok. And you needed to get in there more than the people who had created this system, who were vested in it, people like Larry Summers and Tim Geithner. You needed some real progressive thinking. You needed people outside who were thinking outside the box. And quite frankly, if you look at the president's economic team, you don't have anyone there like that. The only person who could be remotely described that way is a person who's now very much at issue, Elizabeth Warren, in terms of whether she'll head this new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But everyone else in there, most of the other people in there, were in some way vested in this old system.
So, Michael, finally, real quick here, I want to hit him even a little harder. Look, the way I see this, Obama's got a fetish for the establishment, right? Well, otherwise, why go with the guys that screwed it up in the first place? My worry is that he's the exact opposite of what he promised. He promised fundamental change, and as soon as he got in, he's like, how do I change as little as possible? Who do I get from the establishment who's been doing the same exact thing as before? Am I being too tough on him?
No, I don't think you are. I mean, the answer to yes, we can was, the right question should have been, yes, we can do what? And the answer, as we found out, is take things right up the middle. I mean, this was not a candidate of dramatic change. We have to conclude that at this juncture. We can only hope that he starts to see the writing on the wall and pushes for more fundamental change than he has.
Michael Hirsh, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.